your girl BeckyDenise, Anchored by Love, back. I've been wanting to do this video and just talk about steps to being a successful cat adjuster. Mine is at night, y'all. I'm tired, but I really wanted to get this video out. So I got a couple steps here that I've been sharing with different people that reach out to me, and just figured it'd be easier just to make a video and put it up, and then that way, you know, it's there for you guys. So number one, this one is number one because it's at the top of my list. Other than that, there's no particular order. Okay, so the first thing is empathy. If you don't know the definition of empathy, I want you to look it up. There's a difference between empathy and sympathy. That's your homework. Look it up. See what it means. Know what the difference is. But empathy is basically being able to put yourself in someone's position and knowing how they feel, why they feel, what they feel. Okay? I can't stress enough how big it is, or how important it is to have empathy as your role as a cat adjuster, especially with the amount of damage that, or the amount of loss that many have suffered. Number two, review the claim thoroughly. I know you may be nervous and anxious and just want to get in there and make contact and, you know, do all the things that you're supposed to do. But before you do that, I want you to take your time and look through the claim. Know who you're talking to. Know who the homeowner is. Know what the hurricane or windstorm deductible is. Know that you can locate the address to verify it. Know if you need to ask for an email address or forwarding address if their home no longer exists. Where are you now? Like, take your time and go through the file to make sure you familiarize yourself with everything. So if there's something missing that you need to know, you want to know it. You don't want to be on the call bumbling and stumbling around. You want to sound like a professional. You want to be a professional. I want you to review the claim thoroughly. You don't want to ask the insured for information that they've already shared with a prior caller, adjuster, customer service rep, or what have you. If the information is there, you just verify it. Okay, I have your email address as such and such and such and such. Right? I see that you shared your email address earlier, or I have an email address on file. You know, I can verify that it's such and such. There you go. Okay? Number three, get a gist of that insurance coverages so that you know the right questions to ask. So review the policy. Look at their specific coverages, right? So you'll know the right questions to ask. For example, do you have ALE? So you review the policy and you look to see if that customer has ALE. If you don't know what ALE is, it's additional living expenses. So LAE typically on most policies, not all because nothing is 100%, kicks in upon the issuance of an evacuation. So from the point of them filling up the gas tank and leaving due to the storm, they can get LAE starting at that point. They have coverage for food spoilage. The food spoilage can be kind of tricky because on different policies it could be written as if, why didn't you have power? Well, we know it was a storm, but that policy can be specific. Was it due to a transformer 6 miles down the road? Or did that one particular house in the area just lose power? So you want to read your policy and get a gist of, you know, what's covered, what's going on, and what's specific to that customer. Because although if you're with one carrier, the base policy is going to be the same, there's always additions added on. Number four, make sure to verify the address of the damaged home. I have seen in the past where we've worked a claim, paid a claim, and come to it during file review, we realized that it was paid all wrong because the information that was uploaded was for a totally different claim. And typically when a field adjuster goes to a home, one of the first pictures they take is of the home address. Not all carriers, I don't know about all, but typically when I've worked claims, it's in Florida and Louisiana and Texas, they show up and the first thing that they do is take a picture of the home address. It's either of the home, the mailbox. If the home is blown away, it's written on the ground. Like, they take pictures of the actual address. They've also taken pictures of the policy address. Like if the home is gone or off foundation, they'll do something to show you that they are at the right house, at the right location, at the right address. So I want you to verify when you get a file and you go into Xactimate or whatever, and you're reviewing the photos, review that first photo. That's one of the most important photos that you're going to review. You want to make sure that that photo, the address, matches the address on the policy. Okay, this will save you guys, especially you new adjusters, a whole lot of time and frustration just by knowing to check that first photo to verify the address. I can't say it enough, that's why I keep saying it over and over and over. You want to ask the customer, this is still part of number 4, do you have a forwarding address you like to use, especially if the home is uninhabitable? It can be flattened, blown away, just uninhabitable. So you want to know if they have a forwarding address to receive mail or what have you. Verify and update the email address. I prefer, some customers and me, I would prefer to communicate via email because 1, it's a paper trail, and 2, it's quick and easy. And if that customer or insured had to go back to work or don't have constant communication, connection to the internet or what have you, whatever they may be dealing with, when they check the email, the information is there. It's not like a missed call, right? So always verify and update the email address if needed. Number 6, ask about mitigating damages. To mitigate your damages, another word, you guys, is to stop additional damage, right? To protect the property from additional damages. So to mitigate, for example, if there's a hole in the roof, did you get the roof topped? So tarped, I'm sorry. Did you get the roof tarped? Usually when you see the blue tarps, that means that they're mitigating their damages to stop additional weather, rain, wind, what have you, from entering the home and causing damages. So you want to know, did you mitigate your damage? Broken windows, did you secure them? Was the door blown off? Did you secure it? What have you? It's your responsibility to take common sense steps to minimize additional losses after the initial loss. So that is mitigating your damages. And then along with that, that's not in my notes, but you want to know if they need someone to come in to assist them with mitigating the damages. Do they need assistance with getting the roof topped? They have companies like Alacrity has companies like Ladder Now and different companies that'll come out, dry out the home if it's wet, tarp the roof, or whatever it is they need. They have contractors to do that. Number 7, advise insured of hurricane windstorm deductible. So whatever the loss is, review the policy to see what that deductible is. You want that customer to know what that deductible is, and then you also want them to know that they do not have to pay that deductible before a payment is issued. What happens is the estimate is typically written for the damages, and then the deductible is subtracted from the estimate. Hope that makes sense. Another thing is, number 8, flood is never included on a standard homeowner's policy. Okay? Flood is never included on a standard homeowner's policy. If the loss is due to flood, you will more than likely have instructions from the carrier on who to refer the claim or the customer to. You may send it to a supervisor and they do it. You may have the responsibility of doing it, but with whatever carrier you're working for, they'll give you the workflow on it. But just know that flood It's never included on a standard homeowner's policy. Okay? Another thing I want to chime in on flood. If the water's rising, if they say, my sofa got wet, my floor got wet, what have you. Oh, how did it get wet? Did it get wet from the water rising? I mean, did it get wet? Oh, the water came through the door and it just started rising throughout the house. That's a flood. But if there was no flood and they say, oh, there was a big hole in the roof and it just rained down and wet everything. It soaked the sofa, the floors, it soaked everything, the TV, then that's not a flood because it came down into the home. So remember and keep in mind that flood is water coming in and rising up. Anything else is not flood. It's not flooding when it's coming down through the roof. And that's a huge deal because it could be covered. If the damages was caused due to a hole in the roof and the rained down for hours and hours on the furniture, then that's covered. But if it's flood and it comes in and it goes up, then that's not covered through standard homeowners policy for the most part. Have you been contacted by your field adjuster? Have they scheduled an appointment to meet with you? And then go from there. The carrier will probably have a workflow for you on how to set that up if it's not set up or if that's even your responsibility. Again, all carriers are different, right? But they'll have a workflow for you in regards to if a field adjuster has been scheduled to come out. Number 10, have you surveyed any of your damages? Have you taken pictures? Can you send those over? Just something so I can take a look at real quick and have on file. Number 11, you get a description of the damages if not already given. So what I typically do is if I go through the file, I'll look at the initial report and I'll go through some of the things that the customer said. You know, food spoilage, I had damages to my window on the left side. Then I'll ask, okay, these are the damages that you initially reported. Do you have any additional damages that you found since initial report? Okay. And number 12, manage your diary. Attempt to complete your diaries daily. So if you're new to adjusting, your diary is like your calendar. It helps you work through your workload and manage your workload. So for example, if I make contact with the customer today and that customer tell me I'm going to take pictures, I'm going to send you some of the pictures that I have of the damages, I'm going to send you a list of contents or food that I lost, food spoilage, you know, what have you. I would take that claim, notate it, and then I would set a diary, which is my reminder, 2 to 3 days out to come back to the file to review it to see if that customer followed up on what they said they were going to do. So today is Tuesday, I think, Wednesday, I don't know. But 2 days, let's just say for peace sake, today is Wednesday because I do not know what today is. Hold on, let me look. Today is Wednesday, the 5th. I should have known that, y'all, because my husband's birthday was yesterday. But anyway. Okay, so just say I made contact with that customer today. We had our discussion. They're supposed to follow up with some additional documents. I'll set a diary for Friday. That diary will say something to the effect of documents received, contact customer. Or content list received, contact customer. So then it's Friday, I'll go in, I'll see what it is, I'll click on it. Okay, the customer was supposed to send me a list of contents and food that's spoiled, what have you. Oh, I didn't have anything. So I reached back out to the customer. Mr. and Ms. Smith, I see that we spoke on Wednesday. You were to email me over a list of your contents, and I was just following up. And they'll tell you, oh, well, I'm still working on it or what have you. Say, okay, well, I just want to set the expectation with you that I'll be reaching out to you maybe on Sunday or Monday. Because keep in mind, I know you're probably working 7 days a week. And then you just go so on and so forth. Sunday or Monday, whenever you diary it out, you do the same thing. I always set expectations so the customer is not like, why are you calling me so much? I said I was going to get it done. No, you just say, hey, I'm going to set the expectation that I'll be reaching back out to you on Sunday, just so we can stay on top of it. Would that be okay? And leave it at that. They want to take care of it. Trust me, they do. So they're not going to mind as long as you're not calling them every day. Lastly, follow the workflow templates provided by the carrier. That's a good way to stay on the deployment as long as possible until it's over. Follow their workflow. I don't care what you knew. I don't care what you didn't know. They'll have workflows for you for each incident, for everything they want noted or everything that they feel is important to working and closing that file. So follow their workflow. Forget what you know, forget what you heard, forget what feels good, forget what sounds better. Follow the workflow, okay? Clock in, clock out on time. Make sure you clock in and clock out on time. That's a big deal. You don't want them to see you as trying to take time that you're not working, right? So just clock in and clock out on time. If a phone call or something keeps you over, immediately after that phone call is over, you let your supervisor know, hey, this call took me over, and that's going to lead me into this. Remember, everything is recorded. Every click you do, every contact you make, every call you make, every number you dial, it's recorded. Okay? Do not say you did something and you didn't. Do not say you contacted that customer or insured and you didn't. Do not say the insured said something and they didn't. All calls are recorded. These insurance companies are going to cover their behinds. CYA. But whatever you do, you see what you notate it. If it's not notated, it's not done. Okay? Place outbound call to insured. Typically, we abbreviate. They'll let you know what abbreviations work for their company or not. Typically, outbound call, OBC, to insured, to discuss what have you. Spoke with, insured, same advised. There you go. If you did it, notate it. If you didn't do it, don't notate it. If you attempted to make contact, no answer, left voicemail, requesting call back in regards to whatever. Okay? If it's not noted, it's not done. If you didn't do it, don't note it. Another very important piece of being a successful claims adjuster is listen more than you talk. Listen to understand and not respond. Because a lot of us, even me sometimes, I find that when I'm in conversation with somebody and they say something, my ADHD want to take over and want me to jump in, because I have something to say, right? Or I have a response. Work on just listening. You can get so much from just listening to the insured, from just listening to the attorney, from just listening to the contractors. Just listen. And then when it's time for you to speak, you'll know. Then you speak. Leave your ego at home. This is not about you. It's about the insured. So I don't care how you feel about what. This is not about you and your personal feelings. This is about the insured, the loss that they've suffered, and bringing them back home. That's what it's about. If you are easily offended if someone calls you because they're upset because Jane Doe before you promised something and didn't do it, just listen. Take responsibility. Okay, y'all, so that's it for now. I've been wanting to get this video out for like the last 2 weeks. But anyway, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have any additional questions or want me to elaborate on anything a little bit more, just drop it in the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'm anchored by love. What are you anchored by? Have a good night.